with all sense of humility to different groups, different people, given different definitions of the word restructuring, looking at Nigeria. This one I have just talked about is restructuring. But what is restructuring when you are looking at a country? Where in the real sense of it, in leadership provision and then in democratic investment, the word restructuring started. It started in 1786 or so in United Kingdom. Meaning the elders, those who are considered to have the wisdom and the knowledge and been associated with the kings, came together to have discussed their future. And that discussions of the future is a strategic planning of what they expect their country to be in relation to the rest of the world. That is the set goal. That set goal is now the direction upon which generations and generations to come should be seen to build their country they are from. Meaning a direction has now been defined by the elders and the wisest in the land. That was restructuring, and that was the beginning, and that was the birth of the beginning from United Kingdom. And the next that did it was France, around 18 something, I cannot vividly remember, but it is in the 18th century, early part of it. They also sat down and worked out their own with a clear direction of what France should stand for, including their resources. Here, investment in a typical French person, investment in companies, directing them to go into the world and now bring resources back to their country, and then for them to always look inward. And whatever they have, from human resource to capital resource, all put together, should be seen to be colonized into making it French, to be for them, of them, by them. Correct? Then also after France, then one country that thrived to do the same is America. And that is one of the youngest ones in terms of restructuring. The elders in America, that's why up to today you look at Democrats and you look at Republicans. That's why till tomorrow they are talking of the wisest one of the elders. If you look at the activities in their assembly in the Capitol Hill, you will see them always making referrals of their founding fathers. The statements and the outline that was documented, kept by their founding fathers, was the restructuring, meaning the rail upon which America's democracy is resting upon and is making her journey upon. That is their own restructuring. After America comes where? Comes China. China, Mao Zedong and the rest sat down and looked at their labor force and look at communism and look at other ingredients where every part of China is to be represented forever, and they will not be influenced by any force or any democracy anywhere else other than their culture, other than their history. It's like the old dynasties that make China all looking inwards, with all their leaders fully represented, and with them with their population, the size they came out, even as at that time, early 40s, early 90s, I think, no, early 40s, China had her own. And it was that direction that was said, that is what is regarded as restructuring, making referrals to the set goal direction by China into our economic life, social life, security, protection and sustenance of the spirit and principles of communism till this moment. And then the next after that is where? Indonesia. And this other country close to Indonesia, where Singapore. These two came up and sat down and charted their own. This is the most recent that people are looking at books. The letters, I can tell you, is the book written by him. What is it called? From third to first. The ingredients that form their direction, core restructuring, is right there. But in Nigeria, we have totally different definition and understanding of the word restructuring. And it differs from one zone to the other, one political party to the other, one association to the other, one activist group to the other. But the history of restructuring, the whole world over, I have told you where it started and I have told you where it is. In Nigeria, when do we get that done? How do we get it done? It is very easy. If you take away selfishness, if you take away mutual suspicion, if you take away abuses of right, if you take away with all sense of humility, ignorance out of some people, and if you take away the fact that some people are being driven by greed, looking at issues in Nigeria and how to maximize stealing from the resources, opportunities created for them in Nigeria. Some are in high positions. Some are our contemporaries trying to rise up. Some are in the younger ones. This idea of stealing out of what we have, meaning the dirtiest aspect of greed, has already gotten itself into some certain people. With all sense of humility, some people used to say, if you can beat them, join them. So join them in stealing. You don't need such ideas. You don't need such stories to be told to our younger ones. If God has created you here in Nigeria, He expects the best out of you being exhibited in this country, and that is what we stand for. I have given you a little journey of history of restructuring in the life of democracy in the world, and I also told you about the misgivings or misapplications of our services in our constitution and where we are today. So if we are settled with the responsibility of providing leadership to Nigeria tomorrow, we know what to touch to carry everybody along and on board. That doesn't mean we will not listen to ideas. And remember, during our time, God Almighty gave us the wisdom in creating zones for Nigeria, in adding states to stabilize, in adding local governments, in adding wards to every state in the country. So we have done that preparatory to having a constitution that will be complementary. The idea here is to carry all along. And the 6 zones have common histories. If you look deeply, they have common environments. They also have common mission. That's why if you sit down and look at Nigeria, and then you are now to spread activities in leadership, every single zone have some certain peculiarities that the rest of the world don't have. So we are undermining who we are. So we sat down and looked carefully, including agriculture. And people don't believe that we have gone. You can take any profession in life and look at each zone and then see what they are endowed with, different from the rest. For example, South-South. If we take South-South, the investment America do have, minus oil, minus gas, keep that aside, minus capacity to, even though unfortunately some oil companies are into environmental activities that is polluting the environment, the resources from the fish, no, that aside. A typical Southerner has all the qualities expected of a Marine. America spends fortune to train one Marine. But in South-South, naturally, they have natural qualities of Marine. So were Nigeria to be United States, they wouldn't spend much more money as it is to produce a single Marine. That is cost saving. And that is productivity. And you can teach the whole world. So every Southern person that is opportune to have been created there, the environment by association, by activities, by training, by whatever activities you do that will see you grow up, you are naturally a Marine person. If you are, for example, in Northeast, naturally you are a mountain expert, mountain warfare expert. But it is the environment that taught you to be so. If you are in Northwest, naturally you are a desert warfare material. You don't have to go to spend much time. If you are from North Central, for example, you are also an expert in logistics. By nature, by our history, and by our activities. If you are from Southwest, for example, by nature, you are into psychological warfare and you are into medicine and you can provide the best in any aspect of warfare. Southeast, by nature, you are a jungle warfareist, which is one of the most difficult things to be. You are a survivalist by their environment, by their culture, by their training. And that's why you see it's only in Southeast you see people, no matter the difficulties, no matter what, they know how to live alone. You go in the middle of nowhere, you just see a mansion. For him and his family, he's not afraid of anything. He's a survivalist, he's a jungle warfareist, is by history and by culture and by environment. So many bigger armies around the world are spending fortunes to create such qualities. We have by nature, and we do not appreciate who we are. And then there are some other parts of Nigeria that are by nature also talented in terms of feeding the world. Our soil is there for us. For example, some people will say, why did you zone South-South the way it is? But I tell you, you don't need, I'm now talking agriculture in terms of feeding ourselves. One of the examples, and I will stop here. One of the examples here is looking at every zone. You'll be amazed. It took a long time. It took assessments. It took practical exercises. It took researches. It took people to the environment to say, one single mixture of fertilizer is a disservice to Nigeria. It promotes desertification from the north and soil erosion in the south. So every zone should also be seen to have their soils tested, fertilizer adjusted to the deficiencies of the soil. Then you have maximum productivity. You will have also soil protection from it. But people don't understand why in the 90s we participated in making Nigeria divided into 6 zones. It's for numerous reasons. That to me is also structure. For example, the current fertilizer being supplied across one single mixture for the entire country. If you continue with it in the next 50 years, it will be a sorry side. You will be importing food. You will not be growing food. You can quote me. I said this. And so take every aspect of life and look at each of these zones. It is an investment.